Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I was literally here in the chat about to say hello to everybody, but I guess I'm here, so we'll just hang out during the live. Welcome, everybody here at Adobe Live. I am your host, Kladi, and I'm here with you for this half an hour in order to explore the wonderful Creative Cloud Express. In particular, we are working this week to spice up your shops. So if you do have an Etsy shop, or maybe you're starting a new business, or you just want to find ways to personalize in a more, within a budget, your product and the way that you're shipping your product, well, that's what we've been working on here with Creative Cloud Express. I'm going to be here with you today and tomorrow, same time. You can find me here at behance.net/live or on the YouTube for Creative Cloud Express, dedicated YouTube, where you will find a ton of wonderful instructional videos that will help you to create and make wonderful graphics and literally anything you want, from social media to marketing to whatever you can imagine. You can express it with this wonderful app. For those of you that are in the chat right now, hello, lovely to see you. Don't forget that this is also going to be available on replay, so you can join me and go ahead right now on express.adobe.com. Or you can simply relax, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of water, and then just do the work afterward. Completely up to you. The chat that I'm looking at, that is in front of my eyes here, is the chat that is on Behance. I can see Sean, Bliss, Bruce, Sam, what's up? General Kenobi, lovely to see you. I can see Frank and Bruce. I'm probably repeating the same name because the chat is stuck in the same place. Thank you for everybody that's been here. Oliver, Annika, lovely to see you. Michelle, lots of love, everybody. Beautiful to see you. It's time to get started. If you have any question, please do not hesitate. Let's use this time that we have together to explore this app. And in fact, let's jump in it. So I'm just going to jump real quick into the main express.adobe.com, and I want to know in the chat if there is anybody here that has never used it before, which is absolutely cool, because your purpose of working together is to learn how to take the most out of the app, and of course to learn together. As I say all the time here, Adobe Live, Adobe Creative Cloud Express, those streams are a safe space to learn together. So feel free to ask any question about design, graphic design specifically, maybe how to create assets for your shop, for your brand, for whatever you want, for your social media, here using the wonderful and easy to use Express. Express for friends, of course, is Adobe Express. Let me know if there is any question in the chat. Everybody just saying hello. Frank, Michelle, lovely to see you. By the way, Sam, the lovely Sam Peterson, is sharing the link in the chat. So if you've never been on express.adobe.com, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see the actual link is express.adobe.com, but you will have the clickable link there in chat thanks to the lovely Sam. So as I say, today we're going to be creating some patterns. We're going to have a ton of fun. The possibilities are infinite here. Of course, whenever you open Adobe Express, if it's the first time that you are here, you can start with any of this wonderful quick starting template that will allow you to jumpstart your work and create anything you want. I'm just going to scroll through just for a minute before we jump into the actual project. Here you have a custom size that's what we're going to be using today, or you have an Instagram story, Instagram post, Facebook post, poster, logo, flyer, collage, book cover, album cover, YouTube, and then the carousel goes on and on and on. Even your CV, your resume, menu, invitation, and celebration as well. You can start from your own photo, you can start from the template, you can try one of the popular quick actions that allow you to perform the most used actions in design. Maybe you want to collate a PDF, you have multi-pages and you want to just to, many multi-pages, you want to collate it into one. You can convert anything into a PDF. You can edit the text, add images. Maybe you want to resize an image, you want to remove a background. If you have a logo and you want to remove background, that's super, super useful. I'm going to look into that a little bit more tomorrow just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. Garrett, welcome in the chat. And I think it's time to get started. Hopefully everybody is now here on the express.adobe.com. or if you just decided to chill with us, you can just grab a cup of coffee and then you can do your work later on and just use this time to get inspired. Talking about being inspired, a place of inspiration is Behance, and many of you I know that are watching now on Behance. If you head on the actual Behance website, besides all the wonderful stream with the many talented artists and designers and photographers and all sort of people that are there, you can also use this just as an actual way of researching and brainstorming. So as you can see here, all I've done is typed tissue paper pattern, and by clicking on, make sure that you want to select project, so you see all projects that have a tissue paper pattern. You can also just have a little look at what other people have created. So that's another way in which you can use Behance. And by the way, you can also, as you can see here, save the image. Perfect. Let's jump back into Express. That was just a little bit of a tip for you in order to sharpen your design skills. Everybody Google stuff or goes on Pinterest. I strongly recommend you to go on Behance to see the raw, fresh, creative stuff that is there to inspire you. And the beauty is that you do not have to be a designer, you do not have to be a creative, but you can hang out in this wonderful community that is filled with people who do many different jobs, from marketer or business owners, and get inspired together into create these wonderful, wonderful graphics. Okay, so here we're gonna go ahead and start from a custom size. You can pick whatever sizes you want. If you are starting, like maybe you're printing your own tissue paper, you can go ahead and select print and then just simply choose the paper that you would like to use. A4 is the normal letter size, A3 is double letter size. But in this case, I'm just gonna go custom, and I'm gonna make sure that I change my size, in this case, into millimeter. You can of course change it into inches. By the way, I'm streaming from Manchester, UK. As you probably gathered from the weird accent, I'm not British. Actually, it's so weird. I get always so confused. I'm actually British now. That's like blow my mind. But I'm originally Italian, so that's where my weird accent is from. Annika is in the chat. Yes, loving the hair. Annika, I will send the product about the curls. We all exchange all sort of tips in here. And by the way, let me know where are you watching from. I love to hear our wonderful creative community, where everybody is from. Just always gets me excited to see all these different places. And I know that our lovely Annika, which is also a streamer and host here at Adobe Live, and with Recoloring Express, is in Toronto, and I'm gonna join her very soon. I just booked yesterday my flight for Toronto and then Vancouver, so let me know in the chat if there is anybody from Vancouver and Toronto that fancy to have a coffee with me in November. Perfect. So here I've changed my size into millimeter. That's just to have a better reference of the actual printed page. And the usual size is 70 by 50 for tissue paper. Like if you're going with a proper printer, they will probably tell you 50-50 or 70 by 50. I like to create square paper. I just think that you can do so much more with it, and then you can fold it. Because if you have a square, it's just nice to work with a square paper. But again, completely up to you. If you wish to make like maybe a rectangular one, you can do a 50 by 30. Sorry, by the way, 300. And 500, because of course that would be 50 centimeters, so 500 millimeter. Okay, when done with your custom size, you can go ahead and click on next, and you will see that Adobe Express will automatically open up a canvas. In this case, as I said, I created a square, and here offers you the chance of browsing templates. Now, I know that we're creating a bespoke a bespoke graphic for your shop. In this case, I'm going to be creating something which is for a candle shop, so maybe something that reminds the smell of flower or the scent of the candle, maybe the candle itself. We'll have a look at what is there. But as I was saying before, don't forget to browse. When you don't know, like sometimes people have fear of the white page. Okay, you open your canvas and now you have like this white page that is there looking at you and you don't know what to do with it. That can be terrifying. Well, then use the templates as an inspiration. You don't have to do anything with them. So here, for example, what I'll do, I just be like, writing pattern. And you will see that with the wonderful keyword, Adobe Express will automatically use the keyword to bring up any sort of template, which you can then refine depending if you're looking for, cards, maybe Instagram stories, flyers. So, you have the possibility of right away filtering and having a better selection of what you're looking for. In this case, I don't really mind. I'm just after pattern inspiration. I went on Behance, had a little snoop there. I'm having a little snoop here. I kind of dig these lines here, but I also fancy these like two colors stuff. So we have like a contrast of two tones, like it's monochrome, but we have two different tones of the same color. Here we have different shapes. Maybe we have dots. Oh, I love this one here. Can you see this background? I don't know if I can zoom in more than what I'm zooming in here. We have some bees and some flowers. Maybe that's something that can really work with us, being, wax candles and all that. So let me go ahead and zoom out. As I said, you can choose any of these templates to jumpstart your project by clicking on it, but I want to start from scratch. And now I'm going to give you a technique to work. So we have the wonderful opportunity here to create multiple pages in this project. And in fact, I'm gonna go and right away click on this little plus at the bottom of our canvas in order to create a new page. So I'm gonna click on the little plus to add a new page. Same in this page, it gives me the size. Perfect. By the way, that's great if you're creating like an Instagram campaign or like a social media campaign, because you can have all your assets there. I think last week we was done. What happened there? Let's go ahead and reload. Looks like my internet is all doing good. Let's see what's going on. Looks like we had a little bit of a hiccup with my internet, but no problem. We can just jump back right into it. And let's select millimeter, and again 500 by 500. I think that what happened there is that I have a lot of Adobe Express pages open. Perfect, we're there anyway. So as I was saying, I'm going to click on the plus and create another page exactly like the other one, so you can just have one single document open. And by the way, your project gets saving right away. In there we had a blank project, so nothing really much to save. But as you can see, the beauty of working, I'm actually gonna name it pattern paper. Here we go. We can actually save it and it gets saved automatically. Okay, so let's get started. What I'm going to use here on our first page are design assets. You can start from illustrations, you can start from brushes. I'm just going to bring in some of the elements, and this is my biggest suggestion. Before you start, look at that, we have some splatter there, which can be great to create some dots. In order to make these little elements appear, just simply click on them. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and click on some of those items and maybe click on them and then click on the bounding box and drag inward in order to resize them. Because my suggestion is to create a graph of your pattern. Let's go ahead and maybe select our wonderful graphic groups. Graphic groups are like amazing. They are an ensemble of images, graphic elements, illustrations, and whatever you can imagine is there. What I usually do is just go like maybe into nature or, objects, depending on what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and see the nature one, just because again, I'm looking maybe for some flowers, maybe for some dots. And as you can see, I'm literally at the moment just picking different thing. Now, the difference between a graphic group and any other elements that we've seen before is that those elements are standalone, so just one single element, while the graphic group, as I said, there will be a combination of an illustration, image, effect, and photo, and so on. In fact, those have a blue bounding box, which let us know that they are a group, which we can very easily here from the properties panel located on the right ungroup, and we can get rid of anything that we don't need. Maybe in this case, we don't need the little vase. And you can also double click to enter any group, and you can delete anything that you want. So maybe we keep these other dots. Same here, we're gonna get rid of the plant. Maybe we're gonna get rid, by the way, you can always use Command Z to go back. Let's select it, ungroup, and I'm gonna zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna select this shape and delete it because I'm only after this little dashes here. So we have some elements, we have some dots, some dashes, we have some watercolor. Perfect. Now we can go back and maybe head into our design assets and dive into the illustration. And maybe here we can see, we can start from a candle. So you can literally type. Again, we have this beautiful search bar that will allow you to narrow down your research. Here it is. We brought this lovely candle in a jar, which I think is really, really cool. And then maybe we can have some flowers. So as you can see, I'm not designing anything. I'm literally browsing a library of amazing illustration. And look at that. There's so much goodness in here. There's so many good things. So look at that. I'm just bringing in some of these elements, and just then afterwards I will look on how to then bring them together. So I have different elements, some watercolor elements, some illustrated elements, and I'm just gonna bring another one just to finish this off. Let's go ahead and maybe bring this other flower here, and just like so. Perfect. So we can go on and come back, and as I say, the opportunity are endless. I kind of love this lavender, and it ties in with our little banner as well, so I'm just gonna use that as well. Perfect. Now my idea here is to have different elements so you can experiment before you create your pattern. So then you can zoom in. For example, we can have this little jar, and then because we have, you know, the jar is all black and white. By the way, each one of these assets can be resized and recolored, literally anything. For example, here, if you want to recolor it, all I have to do is to apply a filter. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle the filter, and you can see it will change the color of my illustration, and then select the actual color, and you can change it with whatever color you want. Of course, you have the option here to choose 2 different colors, and then again, you can change and as many times as you want. If you're not happy with it, you want to go back to the original, no problem, untoggle the filter, and here we go. So remember, just now for time, I'd rather to focus on the pattern, but you can literally go ahead and play with the filter on any elements that you have here. Another thing that you can do is to duplicate. So click on this icon or use the Command D, or simply click and drag while holding the Alt key. That will be the Option key on your machine if you're working on a Mac. And then you can do different things with this bounding box. So once you select an item, you can use this side arrow to move it. You can use this arrow, which is usually located at the bottom, to rotate it, and you can use then any of the corner to resize it proportionally. You don't have to hold anything, it just resizes proportionally automatically. Perfect. And then maybe we can also use these little dots over here. Maybe we can place it around our little pattern. Maybe we can just, you know, rotate it, make it a little bit bigger, and just move it around. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because this little tile becomes the base of your pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead and select it. And as you can see, my Express is actually saving the project. So I know that everything is going to be there ready for me if something goes wrong. You can click and drag over these graphics, or hold the Shift key and then simply select them, and then select Group here every time that you select any object on the left. So the left side is more the toolbar where you can find all the different things, shapes. By the way, there are also, besides all the design assets that we were looking at, there are also, like, you know, basic shapes that you can work with. So maybe you want a circle, square, whatever you want. There is so much there, you know, maybe you want a little star. Let's just bring this in. And even more complex shapes, by the way. And I said before, as I said before, even with the shape, you can just simply, in this case, change the color of the fill. And if you want, you can also use this little eyedropper tool to pick the color of another object that is present inside your pasteboard. Now, I don't really know if we need this, but I just wanted to show you how to introduce the shape as well. Maybe we can just bring it there. I think it's a little bit too much. I usually don't have more than like 3 elements on the pattern. In fact, I'm just gonna leave that out for now. Okay, so now that you have created your little tile with this element, all you're left to do is to press Command C or Control C if you're working on a Windows machine. And then let's move to the new page that we have created. And if you weren't there with us, all you have to do is to press on the little plus icon located at the bottom of the canvas to add the page. And I'm gonna press Command V to add my little tile there, which is the little first block of my tissue paper pattern. And then I'm gonna hold the Option Option key or Command D to duplicate, and then I'm gonna also rotate like I did before. So you can do anything that you do usually with the groups. You can also do it with with a single element. So rotate, resize, you can also do with a group. And now you can reposition these wherever you want, and depending if you want of the kind of pattern that you want. And then my suggestion is to group each element and then simply start tiling them. You can see you have the guides that tell you right away that everything is beautifully aligned. And I'm gonna do it one more time. In this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy another one as this one, just like so. And then you can click and drag over these elements and group them. So you can make groups of groups, and you can move it wherever you want in your design. So maybe just like that. So they're both cut off a little bit, and maybe to the side. Oops. And make sure that I got my entire group selected so I can move everything together. And again, use the Option key in order to paste your graphic. And then we can select them both. Like I said before, I tend to like do an action and then group it. By the way, besides pressing on the group and ungroup inside the properties panel, you can just simply use the Command G or Control G if you're familiar with other Adobe app. This is actually the shortcut that allows you to create copies of your design element. And look how cute! We literally now created our pattern starting from a single tile, which is in our little experimenting page, if you want to call it so. There we go. So this is pretty much done. All I have to do is to move and resize. Oops, let me go ahead and move these over here. Everything is aligned. We have our guide. Looks like I made a mess somewhere. I rotated or moved too many things. And here it is. This is our first tissue paper. Something that you might want, depending absolutely up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and group this element. You can make it a little bit more transparent. Sometimes it's nice to have like transparent tissue paper if that's the look that you're going for, or maybe not. Or if you want as well, you can also add a background by clicking on the white area of the canvas. You can go ahead and choose a solid color, whatever you want to add the background that you prefer, whatever works for you best. Or maybe you can also, if you don't want to choose a solid color, you can choose an image, whatever you want. I'm just gonna pick any of the many images that we have here available from many, featured image, and of course Adobe stock. Again, I'm just gonna go ahead and let's see if I can find a background, because the time is ticking so much. Yeah, maybe something like that. I know that we're probably not going to use this, but I just want to show you how you can add basically an image there for your pattern. And then you can also choose how big you want your image, and also if you want to rotate it and so on. In this case, I'm going to delete it and I'm good with my pattern. Now this is ready. All you have to do is pretty much download it, save it as a PNG or JPEG, talk with your printer depending on what you want, and just click on Start to download and select whatever destination folder you want on your machine to download it. I'm gonna call it pattern. Definitely didn't spell that right. Pattern paper. That's my 01. And I choose my desktop and a folder called product wrapping. And then click on create, and in there we're gonna put our tissue paper. And look, we got like just a few minutes to go. I think we got maybe like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go back into my page 1, and you can literally start from scratch and do exactly the same with these other elements. So maybe you want to use this lavender, and maybe here you have, this little flower. We can resize the lavender just like so, and maybe we can use this little splatter. By the way, if by any chance any item, like for example, let's say that the lavender is below the splatter and you want above, you can always reorder it by using this little icon that allow you to reorder your graphics, and you can also use the little layers here that allow you to move things around. And again, you can select these new graphics that you've created, hold the Shift key, and then simply click on the graphic that you've created, Command G or Control G to group them. And here, I know we're gonna run out of time. I'm gonna go ahead and create another page, and basically I'm gonna repeat the same. Press Command V, oops. I think time is not with us right now. Command C, and then let's go into our second page here that we're created, pasted, and all you're left to do is to simply to duplicate, rotate, and do whatever you want here with your design in order to move forward and create your pattern. Unfortunately, it is time to go. I really hope that you enjoyed this stream. Don't forget that we're gonna be back tomorrow. I look forward to have more fun with you. Now, don't forget to join the YouTube channel for Creative Cloud Express, and also Behance for more stream here at Adobe Live. I look forward to see you tomorrow. Stay tuned, grab a cup of coffee, and don't forget to come back and have fun with all the amazing creative at Adobe Live. Bye, everybody.